thank you everyone for coming. And today I will be talking about challenges in developing sustainable tourism products in undeveloped destinations, with a little dot on it that we are particularly talking about rural areas that are both undeveloped destination and undeveloped economically in different aspects. And I will also address one specific case that we were working on here that was named Krajina tours. This will be primary focus of my presentation. As said, this is essentially my primary field of interest. So developing tourism in different regions, as this is my vocation as manager of tourism. But in generally, I've been focusing mostly on sustainable development and primarily economic development, but also with a lot of these social components, because we have been working a lot with these kind of groups that are marginalized, such as women or people from rural areas, such as young people and things like that. And this has been my field of work for over 20 years. Currently, I'm the director of a consultancy. This is Stratega that was already mentioned, but also I'm involved in a couple of other initiatives. One is the Center for Sustainable Development in Tourism, which was recently founded to work on development of tourism as well, but also project manager for Green SMEs project in City Development Agency, and working as sustainability advisor for the Enterprise Europe Network. So a little bit of context for those of you who are not particularly familiar with Bosnia and Herzegovina and tourism in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Krajina, as called, some call it Bosnian Krajina because there are other in Croatia, and one additional part in Bosnia that is also under that name, is essentially a frontier region, and that's what Krajina essentially means. That is more of a geographical region in Bosnia that you can see here on this map, is essentially northwestern part of Bosnia and Herzegovina. It's not a political unit or anything. It goes across two different entities, covers different types of territories and so forth, but it has been sort of like a historically compact region that has a common history and some similar characteristics, and it has been well known under that name both in the region and wider, and has been promoted as such, and it is often called as a destination. So that's how it is known in the tourism sectors. Its specifics are for the tourism that mainly focuses on natural resources, predominantly things that are related to rivers, and two key rivers that are important here are Vrbas, Una, and Sana. But also there's a lot of forest areas. Part of this is mountainous, part is a good agricultural plain of land and things like that. So most of the tourism resources have been focused on this, but also there is a rich cultural heritage that has been worked on, although not primarily focus of the tourism offer. It is there, but not so much developed. And when we talk about things that have been worked on and developed in the past 20 or so years, this is primarily outdoor adventure tourism. And some of the things in this aspect that have been developed is rafting, hiking, cycling to some degree, free climbing, and other activities that are outdoor. A lot of this comes in the extreme version of these adventure sports and some leisure variants. And two key attracting areas are the two national parks. One is Una and another is Kozara. Una is a river, Kozara is a mountain. So for those who are not familiar, this is the basic attractive factor of these. And one of the things that has been developed and that we are part of is the Via Dinarica route, specifically green route within the Via Dinarica concept. But this is mainly in the southern part of the region that the route actually goes through. So since one of the key initiatives that we tried to do here was Krajina tours that I mentioned. So what was the idea behind Krajina tours? Since Krajina is generally not well developed or has not been well developed as a tourism destination, and it was never particularly focus of the area, except for specific points that we have in the region. This has been something that we have tried to work on for the past 20 years, but at some point in time, since I've been working in the field for like 15 years at the time, in 2017 and 18, we tried to create something that was called Krajina Tours, which was basically an online travel agency. That was the original concept. And the rationale that we had behind that was we were aware that we have a number of individual offer providers that are generally suffering from like insufficient turnover, so not enough tourists coming in and spending other premises. That their revenue stream is generally not enough, and a lot of them are diversifying because they have to, not because that's their will to do so, and the capacity that they already have is not utilized to the degree it should be. So one of the reasons that we saw as primary why this is happening is the lack of promotion, or more precisely, the quality and quantity of this promotion, and the logic that we put in, that we made an emphasis on, is the lack of knowledge and resources for promotion. So this was the premise that we started with. And the idea was, as I said, to create an online travel agency that will be basically putting all this offer in one place and then offer it to third parties. So this is essentially as any other online platform, with only distinction that we are focusing on specific destination. So targeted online platform, and that would be on promotion, offer some booking options, because this was one of the things that we realized, that like one of the problems is the only way you can actually get to these suppliers is either directly contacting them, or if you know someone who knows someone. So these are basically one of the things that we wanted to handle, and then we started working on creating the platform. Of course, to create this, the starting thing is map the resources, which we did, and putting them on the platform, which we did. But we also started having one-on-one meetings with potential suppliers. So basically, people who would be offering concrete services that could be booked through the platform. And this is basically that the point decided that the project was basically stopped, because we realized that we have lack of developed offer specifically for experiences. So yes, there was accommodation, there was some pockets of this offer for very specific things, such as before mentioned rafting, or for some hiking options and things like that. But the key thing was that the suppliers were not ready to do this on a larger scale. So I will give you an example. So for example, if we are having someone who is doing hiking is done by an association of hikers who are basically doing this mostly for their members. So they organize large groups going somewhere, but they do this only on the weekends, and this is not their primary job. And when we try to work with them on creating offers specifically for tourists, so for smaller groups and people who would have to use this as, for example, during the week, this is where we ended up with the primary problem, that there are not enough guides and other resources aligned around this so that you can actually organize it, because this is not how they do it. Another part of this was that those that were actually providing these type of services were not registered legal entities, so essentially individuals doing this. And this created quite a bit of a problem for us. So you cannot offer it as direct booking through the platform because since they are not registered, they cannot promote themselves. properly, because that would bring on inspection to them and things like that. And another thing is that it turned out that if we wanted to do this, then we would have to be registered as classical travel agency and hire them as individuals. So this created a primary issue for the platform as such. And we kind of stopped it at that point in that form. But after that, we tried to search for a sustainable business model for a tour operator that could do some of these things. So there were different iterations of this, like online promotion portal, then tried to figure out some version of the destination management company into different iterations. One was like more general destination company that would like package all of this as a travel agency. Then a version of it just doing events. So the classical interpretation of what a destination management company is. And also a version that we worked on was a destination management organization, or essentially a tourism development agency. But then in the end, we kind of felt into the rationale that we first need to work on developing the actual offer. So basically the developing capacities of individual offer suppliers and destination management organizations to actually create experiences. And this is basically what we have been doing since 2019. And this is what essentially Stratega does as a development consultancy, working with individual actors that will own their specific capacity and their offer. And some things that kind of came out of this and lessons that we learned along the way are the following. And first, one of the key things that we realized is that we have to work equally on supply and demand development. And we were not the only initiative that worked on the concept of yes, we need the promotion to be better. And not even the only initiative that between this since 2018 and today has worked on creating some version of an online portal that would be gathering all these resources and promoting the destination and so forth. But all of them have the same problem. Their sustainability is questionable, and it usually lasts for a little while, and then they come to the same conclusions that we did. And this is basically that we do not have enough supply to have this kind of agency sustainable in long term. So basically, what needs to be done is working with capacity of service providers. And things that we did in the meantime and that we realized that needs to be done is, first of all, they need support to create experiences. And by this, I mean, first, when they even start doing these kind of things, they're thinking in the traditional way of creating itineraries. But this is mostly, okay, yes, we are going to take tourists from point A to point B. And this is the extent of how they see this. Other options are, yes, we have an accommodation. We want people to come to our premises, and we are offering service of the accommodation. But none of them are thinking of activities for the tourists who are there. And this is one of the things that we are struggling the most. So this was done mostly like through trying to, first of all, work on education, different types of trainings, but also working directly with suppliers to try to develop something beyond what they are already doing. So the key thing is here developing the skills. And another thing is developing the mindset. So how they see what offer is, and not only from their perspective, because they all tend to be focused on their own perception of the resource that touristical resource that we are trying to put on market, not necessarily from the point of view of tourists and how they perceive this. So this is particularly prevalent in the cultural tourism type of offer, where we're basically just doing our business as usual, not adapting this to a tourist that does not particularly have the background to understand what we are actually doing. And overall perception needs to shift for the suppliers for this. And this is something that we've been working on one-on-one. the online promotion as such is something that we are all touting, and yes, this is kind of democratic way to approach the markets, but it has proven that this is not enough. Yes, it is necessary, but first of all, it itself it needs to evolve. I will give you again another example. Like basic way we promote a tour is we just write an itinerary somewhere on a website, for example, and this is written text. There are like no videos, no testimonials, no storytelling, so things like that are missing in the quality of what is being promoted. And another thing is the channels that are being used are not sufficient. Beyond this, that we have figured out that this is a missing link in this is we're working directly with the outbound markets. So yes, some of these issues that we have, as for example, it's hard to work out with outbound tour operators when your offer is not at the level that they need it. So I had listed one of the things like professionalism. A lot of people who offer these kind of services don't have certificates, they are not registered businesses, they don't do any kind of quality controls and things like that. And this creates quite a bit of a problem if you want to sell this through a tour operator. And another is that not enough is being done to even reach those markets, like when you create the product to go there. And actually promote it to the people who are there. Exception here is when we have this option of very targeted niche that we are creating the offer for, and there is a connection to other means. For example, hikers have a hiker communities, and they can go to other associations and bring hikers here, and the same goes for any other interest groups for these kind of things. And these things have more or less functioned through these kind of channels, and this is basically how the tourists are more or less coming to the destination, except for the groups that are coming for non-tourism related reasons. Also, a destination level effort is also a must-have, even though we have been trying a lot to do this individually, and different initiatives have tried to create this. If there is no general effort on the destination level, this still doesn't work. But also the sustainable model for tour operators is also still under a question. We know that there is, beyond us and our initiatives, there have been other travel agencies and tour operators that have been trying to create this kind of sustainable model. But still, because there is not sufficient supply and demand at the moment, I personally don't know for a single one that is currently tourism only and they only do this. Most are just like doing different things beyond offering tours. So the jury is still out, is this a possibility or not? But we obviously haven't given up on it, but it's just going to be an ongoing thing. So stay tuned for more on this regard. And that would be enough from my side. I think that I didn't go beyond my time. And thank you for attention.